hyperbolic when I say that this is the greatest documentary I've ever seen, not only because it exposed a genocide, but because of the way it did it. Instead of talking head interviews and archival footage, the act of killing goes undercover, so to speak, and collaborates directly with perpetrators of these crimes, asking them to reenact their killings in whatever way they wish. The result is the creation of a new reality, a kind of fever dream orchestrated by the perpetrators themselves. And this new reality reveals both literal and psychological truths that would have otherwise been buried by layers and layers of lies and corruption and justifications. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's start at the beginning. How did director Joshua Oppenheimer, who was at the time a completely unknown filmmaker from Texas, end up collaborating with perpetrators of a genocide in Indonesia? In 2001, Oppenheimer and filmmaker Christine Sin set out for Sumatra, Indonesia, with the hope of improving working conditions on a Belgian-owned palm oil plantation. They brought camera equipment and taught the workers how to film. The result was a documentary called The Globalization Tapes. As he got to know the workers on this plantation, it became clear that they were living in truly atrocious conditions, and that these conditions were a symptom of something pervasive across the entire country.
The company would have the women workers spray a weed killer around the palm trees, the oil palm trees, and with no protective clothing, no masks, no gloves, the mist would go into their lungs, then into their bloodstreams, and destroy their liver tissue. And the women were dying in their 40s. And when they would complain to the company petitioning for protective clothing, the company would hire thugs from a movement called Pancasila Youth that had in fact been involved with the killings in 1965. They'd hire thugs to threaten and sometimes attack the women. And the women were easily intimidated, easily threatened, because their parents and grandparents had been in a union until 1965, had been accused of being communist sympathizers simply because they were in a union and had been killed. They were afraid this could happen again.
The rubber workers union was communist run.
Belum ada kesempatan mereka untuk ya kita akan
jelas apa yang dirasakan orang yang disiksa Bang Noir jauh lebih buruk dari ini, karena Bang Noir tahu ini hanya film. Mereka tahu bahwa mereka akan dibunuh.
Tapi saya merasakan, ya, benar-benar saya rasakan. Atau saya itu apa dosa sama saya? Banyak ya manusia yang pernah saya begini gitu ya. Apakah ini kembali dia kepada saya?
In response to these feelings of guilt and possibly a fear of some kind of karmic punishment, he films a completely absurd scene where, in the afterlife, his victims give him a medal and thank him for killing them, because they were sent to heaven. Once he was no longer able to dehumanize them, he needed to find another justification for what he had done, no matter how absurd and illogical. As I mentioned before, this film is not pretending to be a window into reality. It's a collaboration with Anwar, and Anwar is presenting to the audience how he wants to be seen. He wants you to like him. He wants to be a sympathetic.